it's Linda with CreativePLR.com. So we talked about different kinds of things we could do with alphabets and making a whole set of alphabet and sell it for classroom decor and to decorate, our bulletin boards and make bulletin board displays. But the other thing that you can do is you can create, I call them pennants. Some people call them banners. Some people call them flags. They're called all different things, but they're these triangle, papers, little pieces of triangles that you either put together in the classroom. I'd put them together with twine or string. You could put them together with beads. You just tape them together. You could tape them to the top of the bulletin board. The triangle shape is very popular, but at Oriental Trading, this is where I am. Oriental Trading has a whole bunch of decorative ones in that triangle shape. And they do have this, looks like a flag with a rectangle with a triangle cut out. They have a rounded shape. And one thing that would make a great idea to sell for the classroom is if you could get some college logos or, just college names and put in here and make pennants in the different colors of the colleges. That would go great, especially in a high school classroom, because we're always trying to inspire the kids to, go to college and study hard. So the triangle and this pointed shape seem to be the most popular, but there are other shapes that you can do. And so let's look at Canva. And what I did was I used an 11.5 by 8 inch, 11 by 8.5 inch paper landscape, and to put them in there. And the reason I did that is I was trying to get as much space as I could to print on the paper. And when you use the Canva frames, unfortunately, you notice there's no handles on the side for you to adjust the width. And it's easy to see this. If I actually resize this, you can see it easily. And I'm going to resize it to 8.5 by 11. And what happens is, and it's really not that big of a deal, except I know that teachers, have to pay for out of their own pocket. And so we want every inch of that piece of paper that's possible to use. And the problem is that these, when you resize the Canva frames, you can't fill up the whole page. You can't, you're going to have some areas wider. Now, this is not that bad. Most of us could probably live with that. And if you want to put like 2 on a page so people can get more, more out of their purchase, that's fine. The triangle is, we're still losing a lot of paper there. And if you try to get a larger size, you can't put 2 on a page, so that doesn't work. And so my favorite shape, I liked this, and this really is a diamond shape. And I really liked this one. But look what happens when I make the width. I can't make this point any lower, so I can't bring this down. And, I've tried with Canva frames to resize them in such a way, and because they're in ratio, okay, they're maintaining the ratio or the proportion of the original size, that it just doesn't work. You just can't do it. And, the solution is, well, there's 2 solutions. One is don't use those frames, or another solution is, use the frame and accept that, you're not going to fill up the whole page. The third solution is just make your own frames in PowerPoint. And we've done that before. And I've showed you how to make custom frames, but I just want to show you a couple little tricks. Okay, so the first one, so I did this one. This is our triangle, and I've made it fill the whole page. Now, if you're thinking when someone buys this and wants to use it and then print it out, so whatever you're making, let's say you put a letter on there, you're making a welcome banner, WELCOME, a big punctuation mark, okay? And so you put a big W on that, and you're thinking, like, if I don't leave more margin, they're not going to be able to print it out. It's going to cut it off. Most printers have a setting that says, print to page or fit to page, something like that, that when it recognizes that maybe it's outside the normal margin, it shrinks it down just a little bit to make sure it fits. And so you could just give that instruction to buyers, make sure in your printer setting you say fit to page, and, then they'd be able to print that out. And so I leave a little bit of margin, but some printers are all different. That's always a good tip to know. And then I made this one. This one actually is a shape in PowerPoint. And if you scroll down, you'll see it's down this one. They call this the arrow pentagon. So, and then I just turned it this way, so it would be like a flag. That works great. I like this rounded shape because when you put a whole bunch together, it's going to make a little scallop, and that'll look kind of pretty. And it'll look different. It'll set you apart. This is a combination of a rectangle and a circle. And you notice in PowerPoint, I could make this longer, or I could make it shorter. I can make it wider. I don't have to worry about the proportion here. I could adjust the size any way I wanted to, unlike Canva. And so when you get the size just the way you want to, and you fill up the page, maybe I want to fill it up a little bit more because I don't want any wasted space. And we're going to save this as a PDF, and we're going to upload it to Canva. And so I've used every bit of space that I can, and I can move it a little bit so that it is absolutely centered on that. And if you're looking at it and wondering, what is that? Well, that's my paper that I created. And so I did fill these with paper. You need to fill them. This is a rhombus. It's a shape that already exists. And here's the shape that we want. We want that pennant shape, or that little flag with the points on it. We really want that shape. However, one thing we want to do is we want to make sure before we join shapes that we take off and this one's already joined. See, it's already permanently joined. We take off the outline. That's the first thing we want to do. And the second thing we want to do is when we join them, we want to make sure, in this case, it's a triangle. So this is a rectangle, a triangle. We want to make sure that triangle is down at the bottom and hanging over just slightly. And then I'm going to pull it out just a little bit so it goes a little bit past. I want a point there, and I want that triangle to hang over. If I have an outline, I want to make sure that I hit this button that says Shape Outline, and then I get rid of it on both parts before I join them together. After you've joined them, it's too late. Now, I'm going to try this one. I click on the triangle. I click on the rectangle. I'm in shape format. I go over here, and when I say subtract, now that worked on another shape that I did earlier. It doesn't work. This just gives me the triangle. I don't want the triangle. I want everything but the triangle. Fragment works really good, and I pull down that triangle enough where I don't have that line across the bottom. So now I'm going to fill this shape format. I'm going to fill it with paper, and let's see. It doesn't matter what kind of paper because you're going to take it out at the other side. And I don't need extra copies of these, so I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to delete that one, and now I'm going to save as, and I'm going to save it as a PDF. Okay, and yes, I already did it, and I already saved it as a PDF, but I'm gonna save it again. Now, I do want to add that on these combined shapes, like this shape right here, I have an outline on it, and I like an outline on it. However, if it's a combined shape and I try to put an outline, let's see, I don't think we can put an outline on it now. Let's try it. Yeah, it's going to make that line across the bottom. So that's not going to work. Okay, let's see. Let me try one other thing. Picture format. And if I try to put a border on the picture, picture effects, then I don't think it's going to work. Yeah. Okay, so let's go over to Canva now. And now I'm going to upload my PDF where it says shapes. And it's uploading, and I'm going to pull it up. And you're probably thinking, if you were looking really fast, you saw what's going to happen. You're probably thinking, yeah, I don't want those colors. And so you click on it, and you hit delete. And sometimes you have to click more than once. And sometimes you have to make sure you're clicking on the right one. And now you have frames, and they're the right size. They fill up the page, and they look great, and you're free to do whatever you want. Now, one thing you can do is, you could do the alphabet on there. You could, I have a couple ideas for actually back to school things for the kids to do, not just decor. You could color these if you wanted. Put any color in there you want. Okay, make it plain. It works. It's not very pretty. It's not very original. You could also put, one thing I like to do on these is you could get a little circle, and it's hard to tell what color the circle is. You could get a little circle, and I'm going to make it black. Come on. And I may want to zoom in a little bit because I don't want that circle that large. And when the scale is, when it's zoomed out. And then I put one in each corner, and that would not only tell teachers where to poke the hole, but it adds a little bit. I always remember to like click off that, you know, where to put the string through there, even if you don't put a string through there, so you can do that. You can add some paper, and I have some school paper on here. I think that's the one. Okay. And now you may be thinking, yeah, but it turned the paper sideways. That is a problem because you'll notice on this one, the earth or the hills here is on the bottom, on the bottom, on the bottom. That works great. But up here, the one I just filled, it was on the side. So when I put the paper in here, I double click, and now I could just turn the paper around. I could even make it bigger if I wanted. Okay. But I turn the paper around, and then I click, and now the paper is right. And then I could do something like add a circle there. And obviously, I wouldn't use purple, even though I really like purple. I would probably make this white. And then I would put a text in there, and I don't need that much text. And then I would make a big, if I'm going to make a welcome banner, I can make a big W. And obviously we want it much bigger than that. And you probably want a font. It's a commercial font for me selling things. But it's not a font, if you were to get it and want to use it, it's not a font that you could use without buying it. Okay, so there's a really great font. You can use any font that you want to, and it makes a really cute banner. Now, I probably would just pull this down a little bit and not worry about it being centered vertically, but not horizontally, because, you know, if you put the holes in there, it's going to go through. It'll be fine. If you use this to put up a string and fold over the top and glue it to make your banner, then you're going to use up a little bit of this space. So you may want to make this down a little bit. And then you could do all of that the same way. You could alternate the shapes, a pointed shape, a rounded shape, a diamond shape, maybe this flag shape. You could alternate them, or you could do whatever you want. And most of all, you want to have fun.